Marty Levinson, king of... Hi, Marty. How you doing? Hi, everybody. Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine. I'm your host, Meyers. Special thanks to Sonny Hersh. Look at these really cool new cups he made. We even dunked them in the mikveh to make sure it's okay, perfectly okay to drink coffee out of them. Or maybe that's scotch. No, it's coffee today. I'm a bourbon man anyway. But I want to thank him. I want to remind you that you can check all our shows on the web. 35, 36, 37,000. Who knows how many shows have been watched already. It's like an unbelievable number, and thank you so much. Community policing, good thing to do. Very big on that. CAPS24.org. Sonny Hersh, of course, is the chairman of the District Advisory Committee of the 24th District, as well as the beat rep for 2413. We want to acknowledge our new commander, Steve Kalouris, who's doing an absolutely terrific job. He was at my CAPS meeting last night, as a matter of fact. And I think one of the things he's a very straightforward guy, very to the point. Really interested in getting business done. As a matter of fact, we've got a new camera at Devon in California, a police camera. So hopefully that'll take care of some of the problems that have started to occur there. And I especially want to thank him for, he's putting up with me. And believe me, if I were him, I'm not sure I'd want to do that. But I really appreciate that a lot. And, we really look forward to working with you he's going to get promoted. He's too good to stick around for too many years. But, we're really pleased to have him. And, of course, hi, Steve Cohn, hi, Hank Jacob, and all the rest of the guys, and hi, Sergeant Rellinger. In any event, also, I do want to mention that I always invite, and they're welcome to come, the various community organizations, be it the revisionist historians of the Northside Alliance, which is an Albany Park group, Coach John Hoffman, and I forget the other couple's name, but they were Nazi Dolar's campaign chairman. If I accidentally attributed John Hoffman to be the campaign chairman in a previous show, which I might have, I apologize for that. John Hoffman was invited to attend, and speaking of revisionist, I know he's been writing publicly about the 200 or so people that attended his meeting. The police told me it was more like 70. And that might have been pushing it. I think they were being polite. And, of course, Sonny Hersh invited him on the show, and, of course, he didn't show up. And not to mention the creative fascists over at the West Rogers Park Community Organization. And one of the things that Mike Moses, I give him a lot of credit, as well as Alderman Stone and Amy Zander from the Chamber and a number of the other people in the community, are starting a new community organization, which I hope works out, that won't be a political-based organization, but try to get the message out to the people. And one of the really cool things that Sonny and I are involved in is we are going to, but this will be over by the time it's there. Go to our website. You'll be able to get the links. That meeting is actually being televised live over the web and interactive, so you can email questions during the meeting. And this way, the North Side Alliance and the West Rogers Park Community Organization can't get creative and revisionist about what happened in the meeting. You'll be able to see exactly what happened, when it happened, how many people were there. As a matter of fact, we probably picked too small a room because it looks like it's going to be a very popular meeting. But I think that whole live meeting thing is just absolutely terrific. And I hope more organizations do it, because that way it's like we don't have to worry that the West Rogers Park Community Organization voted for the senior center and then demonstrated against it when it served their political purposes. So how can you be against the senior center? Anyway, it is a pleasure and privilege to have the big gefilte himself, the president of the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Chicago, long thought to be one of the truly well-run agencies in Chicago, and somebody who keeps our tax rates down very lowly. And we don't hear about him until the flush happens. So we're talking about President Terry O'Brien.
Hi, Avi. Thanks for having me on.
First of all, my pleasure. And
hi, Marty.
That's important. Marty, how you doing?
Did I put on that much weight since the last time we've been on the show?
No, not at all.
The big gefilte.
Well, I'll explain to those of you who haven't seen the show before. There are 68 varieties of fish, in the waterway, in the system, in the North Shore Channel, and the whole waterway that the things float down. And I really am looking forward to the day when there's one more variety, and hopefully that'll be the wild gefilte. The day that I can go take my fishing pole and catch a wild gefilte in the canal, that'd be great.
Well, Avi, I need to update you.
Sure.
You're right when you say there's 68 different species of fish in the inland waterway system throughout the county, but now we have one alligator.
Oh,
there
wow.
There was a 5.5 foot to 6 foot alligator found down near Bubbly Creek a couple months ago.
Wow.
It was on the news. So, we even get the the tropical people are coming up here and surviving in our rivers and streams. So.
Wow, and the alligators ain't kosher either, guys.
I don't know. They pulled it out of the Bubbly Creek down there, and it was
I used to hear stories.
By 6 foot.
When I was in Florida, I saw like they were selling these little tiny pet alligators, and I keep hearing stories that people would flush them down the toilet, and if you go down the sewers, who knows what you might run into.
Well, actually, my father worked at the water wreck. I think you're well aware of that. My grandfather, third generation. Yeah. But we were down there one time on vacation in Florida. I remember as a little kid, and as a prank, he mailed one of those little alligators to one of his friends at the Northside treatment plant. But I don't think he ever received it, so it mustn't have survived through the mail.
Might not have survived. They actually might have eaten the mailman for all you know.
Who knows?
The alligator might have gone postal.
Yeah. Statute of limitations run out.
Yeah. Oh, one of the things that, and we'll get this on the air sooner or later when we get the cutaways, we took a terrific tour last fall down the North Shore Channel. You'd be amazed how much wildlife there is, and I don't just mean parties and stuff late at night. But, and there's a walkway right by Peterson near Lincoln. You can go down there, and there's bicycle paths, all kinds. It's really getting nice over there. I mean, it really surprised me how nice it was, and hopefully we're going to get that thing, we're going to get the final shots we need and be able to give the whole show to you. But there has been debate recently. It was interesting. I was following links to links, and I read this young woman's term paper from Northwestern about, and it was very well done. I wish I remembered her name.
Leah, I think Raddick might have been the name.
I should have the name. I'm sorry.
The first name is Leah, L-E-A.
Yeah, it was very well done, and it talked about it talked quite a bit about disinfecting the river, and of course the idea of having like a really nice clean waterway is cool. But she gave arguments on both sides of the issue and all that. So let's talk about that. What is now there's been something about it in the papers of late, and it seems that would be rather large venture.
This has been an ongoing topic for the last few years with regards to whether we need to disinfect the effluent that leaves our Northside plant, our Stickney plant, and our Calumet plant.
So those are the discharges coming out?
Yeah, those are after the water's been cleaned to the standards of our MPDS permit.
MPDS is?
National Pollution Elimination.
Oh, gotcha.
Standards. But, and what has come about here is, we've got environmentalists who recreate on the rivers and streams now want us to go ahead and start disinfecting. And for whatever reason, they're concerned about their coming in contact with the water that flows through those rivers and streams. So we as an agency have taken on numerous studies, and there's been ongoing since 2004 what they call use attainability analysis. It's been done in conjunction with the Illinois EPA to determine, extended use of the inland waterway system now that the system has become cleaner thanks to TARP, the Tunnel and Reservoir Plant. Yeah. So what's happening now is because we have more people now recreating on the rivers and streams. You've got crew teams, you've got canoeists, you've got kayakers.
It's pretty cool.
More boaters that are using the rivers and streams. Their concern is their contact with that water.
Now, anybody go swimming there?
Well, yeah, we have some people, I guess. I haven't seen anybody, but I know a few people who've had too many green beers on St. Patrick's Day. They've jumped into the river, but
that's not a good idea, is it?
No. But there's other people that, I guess, coming in and out of their canoes or whatever may step into the water, or I guess there's been fishermen down on the south end of the county that have they wade in the water to catch the fish. So
we got a great shot of a guy catching like a big fish
right off the bank of the North Shore Channel there near our Northside pumping station, which will be on your show that you just talked about. But
was the guy glowing after he ate it?
I don't know. Well, you eat too much of anything, I guess you're going to get sick.
Yeah.
But so we've been working with the state. There's a whole cadre of professionals in this area of wastewater, whether they're chemists, engineers, that are on this committee. And, we're looking at it from the standpoint of 3 different types of technology. One would be chlorinization. using chlorine to do disinfection. The other one would be ozone, and the third one was infrared. Well, the cost that we would incur, or I should say the taxpayers would incur, because they would be paying for this technology, would be anywhere from $500 million on up to $2 billion. And that's for all three wastewater treatment facilities, the older wastewater treatment facilities. Not to mention the fact that
that's per facility, those costs?
That would be all three of them
Gotcha.
together. So, and with the rate of inflation going on now and the cost of materials, I'm sure it's just starting to escalate.
Well, when has a government project ever come in under budget?
Well, exactly. And what we're trying to do is we've done some studies to date. We've done a health risk study, which, well, let me get back to
Sure.
the cost. The cost aspect, I'm talking about $500 million to $2 billion to just retool these plants. It's going to cost another $30 to $50 million on an annual basis to maintain and operate these systems.
Okay.
So, that just shoots the budget up further.
So that's another $600 to $1 billion.
Yeah. And in this day and age, I mean, when the county has a 10.25 sales tax, you got people losing their homes, you've got gasoline going through the roof, you've got food prices going up.
Food's
because
nuts.
of the
Rice
cost,
is double, bread's up 75%.
the cost, yeah, exactly, because of the cost of fuel. We're looking at this thing, and we're looking to see if it's actually needed. And we've already done one study, which is basically a health risk assessment type of study, where we did sampling of the inland waterway system. We did two sets of samples. We did samples during dry weather period and samples during wet weather period. Well, right now, there are no standards set up by the U.S. EPA in relationship to illnesses in river systems. There is a standard set up by them for beach standards. And the beach standard for illnesses it's 8 illnesses per 1,000. Okay. When we did our dry weather sampling, we've calculated it out to be 1 illness per 1,000. So we're exceeding the beach standards, which is 8 per 1,000. We did the wet weather sampling, we're at 6 per 1,000 illnesses. And we're like, first of all, we've had this study done now. What benefit are we gaining from doing this disinfection?
Yeah.
None. I mean, we're already exceeding what had been set up for the beaches.
That's pretty good.
For the river system.
Yeah.
It's very good. And we're now in the phase of doing what we call an epidemiology study. And this study is going to deal with people who recreate on the river, recreate on the beaches, who recreate both places, or who don't recreate on either aspect of it. And we've done this, we've contracted with the University of Illinois School of Public Health. They're doing a study for us. Last year they started it. I think they could only probably get about 900 participants. We need 9,000 they need for their study. So they kind of upped it this year to try to be a little more aggressive in finding people who recreate on the river, recreate on the beach, so on and so forth. We will have this study completed by September of 2009. The problem is we're being pushed. Last October, we had a committee hearing on this whole matter where our research and development department submitted their findings to the board, and it was a public hearing, and then we took comments from people in the audience. And most of the comments came from these environmental groups. And one question that I had asked each one of these environmental groups was that, have you done any studies, or is there any science that you can give us to show or that we can use in our study? Not one of them had done anything with regards to any sampling or doing any science. They just referred to different, language and rules and regulations and things of that nature. So I'm like, we're not trying to avoid doing something. I mean, we have been protectionist for 119 years now. I mean, we've been green long before green became popular. And, and what I mean by protectionist, one, we're protecting the water environment of the county, which is our responsibility and our mission. Secondly, is we're protecting the expenditure of taxpayers' dollars to make sure it's done in a common sense way. and that these dollars aren't just being flushed down the drain. So, what we're asking the Illinois Pollution Control Board is to let us finish the 2 studies that we have ongoing, to make that determining factor on whether this is something that actually needs to be done. I mean, because, like I said, right now, from what we've done already in the 1 study, it doesn't look like we're going to be receiving any additional benefit, for spending $500 million to $2 billion.
This is one thing I find very interesting in looking at what you're saying and what some of these so-called environmental groups are saying, is that, and some of them probably really are environmental groups, but, whatever, you're basically saying, we don't want more money, we don't want to get bigger, we don't want more employees, we don't want to become bigger government. Which, if you think about it, if anything, it's like usually the government agency is the one saying, yes, give us more money, we can do that much more, you'll have that many more jobs, you'll have this, you'll have that, you'll have the other thing. And you're basically saying this is a waste of money, which leads me to believe not a waste of money, but it's not money well spent.
Well, I'm not even saying that, Avi. I'm saying, let us finish these studies.
Right.
And if the studies show us and the science shows us that we need to do it, I don't think you'll have a complaint or a beef from the agency or from the board. But from what science and data that we've gathered already, we're not seeing a need for it. And we're not seeing an additional benefit. Everything we do at the Water Reclamation District includes a benefit-cost ratio.
Yeah.
I mean, because we want to be wise in how we spend the taxpayers' dollars. I mean, this year we abated $7 million back to the taxpayers. May not seem a lot.
Did you bring a check?
Out of $1 billion budget. No, you'll see that on your real estate tax bill.
I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, but when you look at other governmental agencies in the area, the city's hurting for funds, the county's hurting, the state's hurting. I mean, here we're giving money back. And one guy mentioned, he goes, well, it's because you over budgeted. I go, well, not really. I said, it's because the monies that we have collected, we've managed properly so that we've got a better return on the value of that dollar. And even if we did over budget, at least we had the decency to give that money back to the taxpayers.
Which I think is
rather
terrific.
Than spend it on something frivolous.
Yeah. One thing I'm curious about. Now, if the water is disinfected, will people be able to swim in it? Will they be able to eat the fish?
That is what they're looking to do. But I mean, our whole river system here in Cook County is virtually man-made.
Yeah,
it's not a natural
That was
river.
one of the most interesting points I read in that study. I never thought of it, but that's man-made, the North Shore Channel.
Yes.
Somebody says, look at how straight it is. Nature doesn't do it that way.
These rivers were constructed for the mere fact of moving sewage and stormwater away from the area. I mean, that's how they reversed the flow of the Chicago River, was the sanitary and ship canal.
Yeah. Oh, and Leon, I want to thank you for that paper. It was really interesting.
But, so I mean, that's what we're faced with right now. And, with the way the economic times are, I'm just like, just let us finish our homework. I mean, this agency reversed the Chicago River. There was a lot of naysayers then. From then, they constructed 7 wastewater treatment facilities to treat wastewater. We have people from all over the world that look at what we do on a daily basis so they can take those technologies and ideas back to their own country to help themselves out. This whole study that we're doing right now, everybody in the United States is looking at it because there's never been a study done like this on a river system. Now, we're getting a lot of these people that are saying, well, Milwaukee disinfects, Seattle disinfects. We're not Milwaukee, we're not Seattle. We're unique to what those are. Milwaukee flows into Lake Michigan. We don't flow into Lake Michigan.
Right.
So, I mean, when they try to compare us with other cities, lay it out completely, because we're not the same. We're different.
Yeah, one thing I want to back up on the point, when we did the Deep Tunnel show, which is our most watched show of any show, it's actually over 9,000 people have watched it at this point. You can tell on YouTube where the links where people are coming from. This thing is actually on a number of engineering libraries and all that, and people check it out from the engineering libraries to see how things are done, and people are watching that all. I mean, and like I don't have the cool videos, with the hot women and all that, so I'm not going to get the numbers of some people, but like when people watch the show, they're usually trying to get information and learn stuff. Either that or checking out our buddy Jim Nally, which, by the way, that's not a joke. One of his shows from about a year ago started going up and up in numbers.
Really?
on YouTube. And I started alerting to him, and he watched the show again, and he says he was actually fighting a suit with a similar case on election, and they were watching that to see how he handled the other case in order to fight him in court.
Yeah. Well,
so that was pretty cool.
It's a unique tool.
Yeah, and I had another guy tell me too that he does business. He sells things to the state, and he says anytime you do business with them, they're going to Google you.
Yeah.
And that's the video that comes up. So that I'm wondering how come people are watching the show from a year and a half ago. And
no, they do. But I mean, you bring up the Deep Tunnel Project. I mean, here's a project that the agency went through about 200 different ideas on what to do with this combined sewer area, the city of Chicago, and 52 of the older communities. This was the idea that they came up with that they thought was the most economic and cost-effective means in dealing with this problem. This idea is now being copied not only throughout the United States, but throughout the world for areas that have this problem with the combined sewers. Cleveland's, the Detroits, they're faced with this issue right now. We're fortunate enough that, we started it back in 1976 where there was a lot of federal dollars available from the U.S. EPA. Now these people their communities are going to be saddled with a bill in order to implement a similar type project that we're implementing here. So, Chuck Percy, who was a U.S. Senator at one time, tried to stop this project.
Oh, I didn't like him for a lot of other reasons too.
But there was. The district has always, done what's needed to be done, no matter how big or how small the scale of the project is. We've taken on some major projects, but we've always done our homework up front, and that's all I'm asking, your viewers and people to realize is that we're not trying to, be obstructionist or anything of that nature. We're just trying to let science take its course and see if it actually needs to be done. Because it's basically turned into an emotional cause for a lot of the environmental groups. And I'll tell you, I'll probably be the first one to say, if we need to do it, we need to do it.
Yeah.
But, I've told people, I said, I virtually grew up on the river or the North Shore Channel near Bryn Mawr and Kedzie.
Yeah.
Where I grew up. And we used to hang around before there was even a park there. It was overgrown weeds, and we'd hang out under the bridges and stuff like that. But, now, the river's in great shape. But the problem is especially where would you go swimming? Just because of the way it's constructed. There's no ingress or egress from that body of water.
Oh, it's not like a natural thing. You walk on the sand and it gets gradually deeper and all
gradually
that.
Deeper. And the other thing, too, is you got to worry about barge traffic in some of those areas.
Yeah.
You got to worry about some of these pleasure boats, So, I don't know. I think I would be afraid to jump into that channel.
I don't even like Lake Michigan. No. A swimming pool is just fine.
Well, I grew up on Lake Michigan, too. I like that. So.
Well, I went when I was a kid. Part of my problem is that I burn. I don't tan. So.
You must be part Irish.
Could be. Well, you know what? People have accused me of that. I do have the complexion and the hair color.
Yeah.
So you never know. Well, actually, I think I do know in this case. Lithuanian guys. Both my parents were born in Lithuania.
So this has been an ongoing battle, which has kind of escalated in the last few months. The Illinois Pollution Control Board are the people that are doing the hearings right now, and will be the people that will make the ruling. So, if you need any information or any of your viewers need any information, they can go on our website, which is mwrd.org. And there's a section on there on the research and development. You can click on it, and I think it probably has the UAA symbol for this study that's been taking place. And I think we also have the information with regards to the studies on what the cost would be involved for retooling our plants to do this disinfection if we need to.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I think it's, first of all, I think it's terrific the way it is now. And not that I want to go swimming in there, and unfortunately I did lose my Evanston police hat when we were on that boat. Yeah, you were saying you want us to try to retrieve that, and I was thinking, it's like, I don't think so.
But the other fear we have, too, is then we're now have competing dollars. We're trying to finish the TARP project,
right?
Which in itself has improved the water quality immensely.
And you have to do a lot of lobbying, as a matter of fact.
Sure. So far so good this year. We're in the president's budget for $35 million for 2009. This year we've gotten 33.5, so we got a little bump up. So it's nice, and we got to maintain that level for about the next 10 years just to finish the reservoirs at the ends of these tunnels. So
yeah, it's some serious stuff. Is what's going on? I mean, I don't think it's recent. By the way, one thing I do want to say too about environmental and green groups, even though I think it's a normal, natural thing to want to do this stuff, some people are making a crazy religion out of it, and taking it a little bit too far.
Yeah, and
I'm not telling anybody pollute. You know, and I don't particularly own a car. I don't. I even walk places. So I got an organic garden out back. But, you know, like there's such a thing as being normal, too.
There's a lot of great things that are coming about with this green movement.
Well, I think it's wonderful overall. But I'm just, you know, I guess no matter, some people are just going to get wacky no matter what.
But
I'm thinking of one particular friend of mine who thinks that God's punishment on the world is that we're not properly disposing of our carbon or something.
But the problem is, you know, with a lot of these changes come a cost.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to justify that cost, and you know, there's got to be a reason to go and do that, and that's what we're asking is just let us finish the studies and the science, and then make the determining factor after on whether it's something that's needed. Because the one that's getting stuck with the bill is the person that can't afford to be stuck with the bill, and that's the taxpayers of this county.
We had Alderman Stone on last week, and he told me that there have never been so many vacant buildings in this neighborhood. And it's a much better neighborhood than most, so it has to do with the economy. And he said he's never had to order the condemnation of a building either, but there's one building that's about at that stage right now.
Well, you can just drive around some of the neighborhoods now. You can see all the for sale signs in front of homes.
Yeah, it's a shame, and I've seen it's a shame I don't have any money because some of the things I've seen on sale are so, you know, people are saying you got to buy it now because obviously they're going to fold up.
Yeah. Like
a deck of cards, but there's so many good buys out there. It's not even funny.
I was talking to a gentleman the other day. They said steel has gone up 100% since the first of the year. You know,
this is all going to hurt.
It's just unbelievable. Yeah. And, you know, when's it going to stop? I don't think anybody has a crystal ball to tell us that.
No, I don't think it's stopping so soon either. I think it's, look, it just, you know, I bought my rice right before it went up. I bought a 10-pound bag of my favorite basmati Himalayan rainwater rice. Under the OU, by the way, and there was really a rabbi at the foothills of the Himalaya making sure everything was kosher. And I paid $8.99. It's $18.99 now, and that was earlier in the year. I paid the $8.99. The 98-cent loaf, half a loaf of bread over at Tel Aviv Bakery is now $1.79. And these are staples. You can't. This stuff hard to live without.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and somebody says this is getting to the point where it was during the Depression. You know.
As a matter of fact, Mort Zuckerman on the McLaughlin Group, my favorite political show, saying that he is saying point blank, and he's an expert in economics, he's saying point blank that this will be the worst economic period since the Depression.
Yeah,
and people don't realize what's going to be happening. I feel very grateful not to be dependent on a car right now with these gas prices.
Oh. But there's a lot of bicyclists now.
Yeah, I'm afraid of the drivers, to be honest.
And I think the drivers are afraid of the bicyclists.
They are.
Because they've taken over the road.
You see those letters in the paper?
And I'm a bicyclist. I'm not saying I love riding my bike, too. And I'm just... But they get out of those 4-foot white lines that.
Yeah, we've got them over here. But yeah, it's scary. It really is.
Yeah, because sometimes I go down Clark or Wells Street, and I mean it's just like bumper to bumper bicycles.
If I want to take my bicycle out, I take them over on the PS over at the
North Shore Channel.
Right, exactly, which I think is a great place to do it. Anyway, we're out of time. I want to thank very much my guest for enlightening us on disinfecting Lake Michigan. You can't just put one of those tidy bowl things in there.
Michigan. The river system.
I mean, the river system. I'm sorry. We can't put a tidy bowl thing in there.
The city of Chicago disinfects Lake Michigan when it comes to your faucet.
Sorry about that, yeah. Terry O'Brien, President, Water Reclamation District, Greater Chicago. Website,
.org. I'm sorry.
.org. And if you want to call the Water Reclamation District.
You can reach me in my office at 312-751-5700.
Hi, Kathleen. Thank you very much, Sonny. Check us out on the web. Thanks, Terry. Be well.
Thanks, Javi.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Marty.